I'm Chris D'Lella.
And I'm Jesse Joseph. We're both producers at CNBC, and we travel the world covering the luxury real estate beat.
You're about to see 4 of the most expensive homes in America, with price tags over $100 million.
They're crazy big, packed with bowling alleys, underground tunnels, and even a $2 million TV that rises up from the pool.
Here's CNBC's Robert Frank with number 4.
You're about to take an exclusive tour of the most expensive home for sale in the United States. Asking price, $250 million. The recently completed 4-story mega mansion towers over the city of Los Angeles from the hills of Bel Air. This is the first and only time TV cameras will be allowed inside the 38,000 square foot home. Bruce Makowski is the big-time developer who built this luxury lair. And when billionaires request a tour, Bruce starts right here.
So, is this garage?
No, this is the ultimate auto gallery. This home comes with 12 of the most exciting and insane cars.
And expensive. This car alone, I know, is worth $2 million.
There's only 100 of these made. This is number 50.
Bruce spent years building this collection of cars and motorcycles that's now worth around $30 million. He's incorporated them into the design of the house, and he's hoping vintage cars like this extremely rare $15 million 1936 Mercedes will prove irresistible to a super wealthy buyer. But if cars aren't your thing, there's plenty more to amuse yourself with on this giant floor of the mansion.
This space is a little over 12,000 feet, and it is chock full with the most amazing entertainment that you could ever want to have. Starting in the far end over here with a 4-lane bowling alley.
And are those gold bowling pins?
They're custom-made bowling pins, but only for decoration. You can't use them.
Pretty nice decoration, though.
And just past the almost 30-foot mega TV hanging over the bar is a massive James Bond-themed movie theater that seats 40 and cost nearly $2 million just to build.
Really comfortable, by the way.
Robert, 57 speakers in here, 16 subwoofers, a 25-foot Stewart screen with 7,000 movies loaded in here. You're not going to want to leave this room.
You don't just watch this theater, you feel it in your soul.
There was no budget. It had to be the best of everything in this house.
And there are no limits on the second level either, starting with the mind-blowing spiral staircase that costs $2 million. But if the 75-foot infinity pool isn't grand enough for you, another multi-million-dollar marvel appears.
It is a $2 million theater outdoors. It's 18 feet wide by 12 feet high, and I can break it into as many TVs as you want, and you actually have a drive-in 4K theater in your house that you can use every single day because we're in Southern California.
And Bruce doesn't think the billionaire who buys this place should ever lift a finger. So he's including a personal trainer, a masseuse, and a private chef who's setting the table with Roberto Cavalli designer dishes. In all, 7 staff members have been hired to remain with the mansion for 2 years. They were assembled like the crew of a mega yacht, which was a big part of Bruce's inspiration to build this place.
It didn't make sense to me that somebody would spend $300 million on a boat that they use 8 weeks a year, and they live in a $20 million or $30 million house. So what I'm doing is I'm building these masterpieces for those people who want to have that same feeling on the water that they can have on land.
But even the largest luxury liners don't come with 130 curated art installations, like this gleaming $1 million steel sculpture of a giant Leica camera, and a spectacular 20-foot wall designed to look like an enormous safe. And since most super yachts come with their own helipad, Bruce put one on the roof, along with a Bell 22A helicopter. But since the ritzy neighborhood doesn't allow copters to take off and land, Bruce calls the permanently parked bird a multi-million-dollar sculpture.
The super wealthy really understand quality. I travel all around the world and I get to see their lifestyle. They just want the finest things in life, and if they can afford it, they should have it.
That house is so big, it took us 3 days to film it all.
Up next, you're about to see what's currently the most expensive home for sale in the US. It's got secret underground tunnels and a 12,000 bottle wine cellar.
This is number 3.
This $195 million residence sits in one of LA's most rarefied neighborhoods.
The estate's owned by billionaire TV mogul Jerry Parenchio.
The former Univision chairman purchased the Bel Air mansion back in 1986.
And after a 5-year gut renovation, he transformed the interior into an authentic replica of an 18th century French chateau.
And this is the first time TV cameras have ever been invited inside.
Mr. Parenchio loved to entertain, so he built this 40-car motor court, and above it, he built a beautiful rose garden.
The billionaire businessman filled the 25,000 square foot mega home with rare European antiques and made some modern-day upgrades to the place.
The grand ballroom was designed for entertaining, and one of the special features of this property is that a flick of a switch, it becomes a theater. Now, I'm not going to drop names, but on this very stage, you would have A-list performers who are used to playing in arenas, playing here for an intimate gathering of 100 guests.
One level below is the estate's massive wine cellar.
It's completely climate controlled and can hold 12,000 bottles of wine. You heard me right, 12,000 bottles.
Buried underneath the chateau, there's 2 tunnels that are original to the home's 1935 construction.
And this particular tunnel takes you to the spectacular pool and pool house. Pavarotti, who was a friend and a frequent guest to the estate, used to stay here often, and he would come down to these tunnels and he would practice because the acoustics were so great. Figaro!
The billionaire added a giant's head to the mouth of one of the tunnels and a massive steel and wood sculpture shaped like an oversized birdcage. It's surrounded by private gardens and ponds filled with koi fish.
Back in the 80s, the owner bought 3 neighboring properties, which expanded the estate to more than 10 acres.
He converted one property into a 5,700 square foot guest house. The other 2 he bulldozed to make way for a dramatic private driveway and grassy helipad.
A grand fountain in the backyard is flanked by a pair of staircases, each one with its own cascading waterfall.
And while redwood trees are usually only found in Northern California, the TV titan transplanted dozens of majestic sequoias, creating a private redwood grove in his own backyard.
Not only is there nothing like this in Los Angeles, I don't think there's anything like this in the country.
Oh my God, Jess, I loved those secret underground tunnels.
Those were so cool. And up next, our stop is an LA mega home featured in iconic Hollywood films like The Godfather and The Bodyguard.
Check out number 2. At the top of this 800-foot-long driveway
sits a massive 50,000 square foot estate with a glamorous Hollywood past.
This is the Beverly House, which was the estate of William Randolph Hearst and Marion Davies. Jacqueline John F. Kennedy honeymooned here.
Inside, the home is filled with eye-catching architectural details, like this living room with elegant arched ceilings.
And a unique 2-story library with hand-carved woodwork.
You come in and you feel the expanse, the height.
In the billiard room, there's an antique pool table and fireplace.
With 2 dining rooms and hallways that are over 100 feet long, the Beverly House can easily entertain 1,000 people.
Downstairs, guests can party like the ultimate playboy.
So this is the entry to the Deco Lounge.
When Hugh Hefner's private club in LA called Touch closed its doors in the 90s, Ross purchased the doors and the etched glasswork to design his personal lounge just like Hef's.
Outside, the lavish look of the gardens, fountains, and tiered pools lured in Hollywood producers who've used the home on film to portray extreme luxury.
It was featured in The Bodyguard, starring Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner, and of course, in The Godfather.
So this was the scene when they walked around the pool, and then you saw the horse's head in the bed.
With all of the history and entertaining that's happened here, just imagine if these walls could talk. Jess, you didn't run into any horse heads, did you?
No, thankfully that scene was filmed in a studio.
Up next, we've got a beachfront mega home that's covered in $5 million worth of gold leaf.
Here's number 1. The billionaire that's building this 60,000 square foot mega mansion in Florida likes everything supersized.
He spent $4 million on an enormous 150,000 gallon resort style pool.
And another $2 million on the first ever IMAX home movie theater.
But he isn't just splurging on jumbo-sized amenities.
He's also pouring huge amounts of cash into the tiniest details.
It's cost him over $5 million to accent inch after inch of this palace with 22-karat gold leaf.
It's the same type of gold, the same technique applied from the 18th century in France.
Nicolas Garnier is in charge of the crew that's painting on the precious metal.
He had the highly skilled artisans working on the scaffolding flown in from France.
Everything's getting the Midas touch.
Like the $500,000 front doors imported from Germany,
The railings on the $2 million staircase,
and the moldings on the wall and ceiling.
this ornate paint job will take months to complete.
You need to apply the gold very specifically just on molding, and this takes a long, long time.
The owner put his gold-covered palace on the market for $159 million.
But it sat empty for years and eventually sold for just $42.5 million.
There was so much gold flying around that place while we were filming that we had gold leaf on our shoes when we left.
That is crazy. Jess, if you could pick any one of those 4 houses to have a house party in, what would you choose?
I'm for sure throwing a party at that mansion overlooking LA with the $2 million pop-up TV. How about you?
I'd say hands down, the house with the secret tunnels. Let us know what you think. Tell us your favorite in the comment section below. And don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, all that stuff.